All right. Hello out there to everybody. You're watching Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about ham radio, amateur radio, shortwave, electronics, and such. So we welcome you. We're glad to have you with us tonight. And if you're out there listening on shortwave tonight, let me see if I can find a, yeah, here it is. If you're out there listening on WBCQ tonight on 7490, we'd love to hear from you. Please send us an email to Tom at W5KUB, Tom at W5KUB.com, and tell us where you are and how you're hearing the station tonight. Relatively low power. I think we're running only about 50,000 watts out of Monticello, Maine, up right on the border of Maine and Canada up there. But we still get out. We've listened to the show a few times with remote receivers, and we've heard it from Europe and South America. So I think we're getting out. So hey, let us know how you doing and how you hearing the show. Also, just remember, we have some people out there that just listen to the audio podcast only, and this is you can get this on any of the podcast carriers out there, from iTunes to Google Play. To now iNet Radio, all of them out there, and just search for Amateur Radio Roundtable, and you will find it out there, and you can download it, or you can just listen to it. A lot of people listen to it while they drive, or they're at work, or whatever. So hey, I would really like to hear from you guys out there. I'd like to know how many people out there are listening on the podcast, the audio podcast. So if you're out there listening on one of the podcasts, hey, send me an email, Tom at W5KUB.com. I'd like to hear from you. We need to know whether to improve it or just shut it down. I don't think we're going to shut it down, but we would like to know how many people out there are listening to the show through our podcast. If you will, please hit the subscribe button there on the YouTube. There's a little arrow. I'm helping you out there. So just hit that subscribe button down here in that bottom right-hand corner, I think. It should help you there to know where it is. So, lots going on this week. We'll talk about a little bit tonight. We're going to have Rich in here in just a few minutes. We're going to talk about CQ for next month. We've got a video here from Alan, and we're going to talk about building a 49-to-1 ballon tonight. Actually, it's a UnUn. It's a UnUn, not a ballon, but a UnUn. Okay, so we're going to talk about that tonight and using a half-wave antenna. That's going to be interesting, and I've got several different other ballons that I've built here that we'll just probably talk about, and we'll give you an update on 112 here. It went down somewhere in the Middle East, and we'll talk more about that a little later. Let's see. Hey, next week we are going to have Eric 4Z1 UG from QSO Today. It's going to be with us next week. So be sure and tune in next week to see and hear Eric there. So, hey, Glenn, how you doing tonight, man? Thanks for being with us.
I'm hanging in there, I think, man. I'm finally getting caught up on things. This having to go back to work and be in the office just isn't really compatible with life. So we're going to have to figure something out there. But we actually have started work on the next book. This one's going to be for the elector folks over in Europe. And fixing to start ramping up on that real soon. We still have the ARRL book that's in the process of being edited. So I'll actually have 2 books out this year.
Well, I think you're just getting lazy to go into work, because if we hadn't had COVID and you got to work from home all that time, I think you'd have been all right in going to work, man.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, I hadn't been in the office since, I think it was 2 days since Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And, sleeping in and stuff like that, it kind of ruins you.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. Yeah.
So.
Well, you're just getting to the point where you're ready to just do something else in your life and relax, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I want to play. I love doing the books. That's really my post-retirement plan, is to focus on Arduino projects, the books, and just having some fun for a change.
Yeah. Well, I would like to do more, but I don't know. I tell you, you can get lazy in retirement. Although, it seems like to me, I've got so much stuff going. I don't think I can be lazy. I just got so much going. It gets in the way of ham radio.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the way I see it being. Is the good news is I've got the lab and the Arduino right over here. So I mean, I'll be playing with that a great deal.
Yeah, well, I haven't even got my satellite antennas up yet, or my rotors out there yet. I mean, the weather's starting to get nice out there. I'm waiting on Rick. Let's see. I don't know if Rick's in the chat room tonight or not. WA4NVM. Let me see if he's in here. WA4NVM.
Oh, Rich is here.
Yeah, Rich is here with us now. Yeah, Rick's here. Well, maybe Rick can put those up for me when I've got to be in New Orleans Friday and Saturday, so maybe Rick can come over and put those antennas up. And I'll just set the rotors and stuff outside, and maybe he can have all that set up for me when I get back, man. Because I'm ready to get on satellite with the automated antennas, man.
Yeah, I've got my shack finally all wired. It's just a matter of cleaning it up, dressing the cables and stuff. But I'm pretty much ready to rock also. Yeah.
Well, hey, I have to work you on satellite here, maybe in the next month or two. We're gonna have to get you on there, and that'd be a great satellite contact. We're maybe 20 miles apart, something like that.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, actually, we're just far enough that ground wave on HF isn't going to work.
Yeah, so let's just send that signal about 500 miles between us, okay?
Yeah. Well, we might be able to make 2-meter sideband or something like that.
Might be able to, yeah.
But yeah, we're not going to make an HF contact from here.
Yeah. Well, we probably could on 75.
Possibly.
Couldn't we?
Possibly. I don't know. I mean, like I say, I'm just pretty much out of ground wave reach of you.
Oh, I see Rick in the chat room here. He must be listening. I thought maybe he was going to get a coffee or something, wouldn't hear me, but Rick says he don't think so. So I guess he's not wanting to climb up on my roof and put the antennas up while I'm gone, man. So
no,
all
you're
right,
gonna have to do that yourself.
All right, well, I'll go to Plan B then. I'll go to Plan B. All right. Let's check in with Rich here. Rich is with us tonight. How you doing, Rich?
I'm doing great, thank you. And sorry I was a little late, but
wow, wait a minute, wait, Rich, something's wrong.
Yes.
You're not in the basement. Did you get a haircut? What's going on here? Let me see your head. Turn your head. Oh, no, you still got the ponytail back here.
Yeah. I have lights.
You look like you cleaned up or something. I don't know, man.
Because I'm in my daughter and son-in-law's house because we're dog sitting for them.
Oh,
because
okay.
They are at the hospital with our brand new granddaughter who was born this morning.
Congratulations.
So,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, that's great.
It's been a really fun day, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Already.
Now, are you close to home, or are you guys kind of away from home? I mean,
we're about 45 minutes from our house.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, since you're away from home, have you got all your talking points memorized there?
I do.
Tell us what's going to go on.
I brought my inch-thick file folder with me.
Okay.
So, March issue of CQ is on its way. We got a really cool cover picture. How much you can see of it. The get the right direction there. There we go. That is. Let me take a look. K2LNS. He was up on his tower, lowering one of his beams down on a tram line to a friend. And if you look real closely, you see his shadow on the tower on the ground there from the picture. So he didn't even realize it was in there until afterwards.
Yeah.
So that is really very, very cool.
Cool.
And we start out this issue with a de-expedition, not to Bouvet, a little soon for a story on that. But this one is DX from the edge of Alaska, K7K expedition to Kiska Island, which is way out in the Aleutians. And it has the distinction, I don't know if you want to, it's probably not a good one, but it's the distinction of being one of only two parts of the continental United States, or not of the United States, period, that was occupied by Japan during World War II. Kiska and Adak Island, also in the Aleutians. So it's very interesting history that goes with that island. We've got the results of the CQ Worldwide RTTY DX contest, and hope people had fun in the 160 contest last weekend, if you operate top band. We finish up a couple of series this month. Klaus Spies, WB9YBM, has been doing a 3-part series on maximizing what you can do with your scanner or scanning ham receiver. And we have the last of those going portable with scanners and ham radio handhelds. K3SKS, Stephen Smith, has a follow-up on his article from, this was last January, on portable operating. And this one, he decided to get alliterative on the title, and it's titled Persistent Practice Produces Positive POTA Progress. So you can get a sense of where that one's going. We have another de-expedition for our CQ Classic to Mount Athos, SY1MA. This was from 1973. The March 1973 issue. I think the de-expedition itself was in 72. That's right, this was exactly 50 years ago. That's why we picked this one out. A lot of things have changed in the world of de-expeditioning, and a lot of things have not. So it's very interesting to take a look at an article from 50 years ago and see what's different and what's the same. K4HRK has an interesting article on a collapsible tri-band antenna for 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. And you can even have an option to make it a quad band antenna and add 10 to it. It's an antenna you can hang in a tree. It's interesting. Mm-hmm. And we've continuing our wrapping up series of series that are being wrapped up. N2EWS finishes his series on the continuing anticlimactic adventures of the perverted V antenna, which has been really interesting. You can tell we're dog sitting.
Yeah, I hear. I can tell.
And finally, among our features this month, we have a very interesting piece from W0FN on learning Morse code instant character recognition. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this. It's a fairly new program, and the idea is to help you get away from copying individual letters and basically hearing and comprehending entire words, which is really the secret to moving beyond about 15 words a minute in your comfortable code speed, be able to copy whole words. So there's a program out there to help you learn this technique. And I may just give it a try myself sometime, because I get uncomfortable above 20 or so. So it's very tempting. Among our columns, we've got a look in listening posts at Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty that are back in the news these days because of the war in Ukraine and the propaganda efforts to limit information getting to people in different parts of Europe. And interestingly, though, very little of what we're seeing in the articles about RFE and RL have to do with radio. It's almost all internet, which I find disturbingly fascinating, because when people are cut off from the internet, what are they going to do? They're going to listen to the radio. The radio doesn't have to have wires connected to it. And it's a lot easier for a government to cut off your access to the internet than to cut off your access to a radio. So I think that all of these so-called broadcasters are being very short-sighted and giving up on broadcasting and thinking that they can achieve their missions by just being on the internet. That's my soapbox for the moment. In math notes, we're continuing again. This is the continued issue. Irwin, WA2NDM, has more on simple testers. He's got a crystal quartz tester and a silicon-controlled rectifier and triac tester for those who have those in their junk box and are trying to figure out what values they have and then how they can use them in circuits. In emergency communications, K3PFW is talking about his new station that he's building at home and how he's designing it to be focused on MCOM. Joe Eisenberg, K0NEB's kit building column is on a very interesting device, the Ham Radio Solutions CW Hotline. And it's a code practice oscillator and keyer kit, and kind of fits in with your instant character recognition. If you're doing one, you make use of the other. Gordo's Short Circuits by WB6NOA. He takes a look at two HF tuners, the Comet NCG CAT 300 and the ODG Z100A. If I'm remembering correctly, one of them is an auto tuner and the other is manual. In our medium and low frequency column, we have a review of some basics of medium and low frequency amateur radio. And for those who are unfamiliar, we're not talking about 80 and 160. We're talking about 2,200 meters, 630 meters down below the broadcast band. So that's a regular column. We encourage people who are interested to get into operating there. In our Ham Radio Explorer column, K8ZT talks about the sound card modes and different things you can do in sound card equipped radios, things like that. It's very interesting. In digital connection, N2IRZ talks about tarpon nodes and their containers. He's mostly talking about containers, and he's building furniture to hold the radio equipment for a tarpon node. Learning curve, K0Z is introducing grid squares for our beginners, and the concept of going out and activating different grids in your mobile portable operating. VHF Plus N4DTF is talking about the approach of the annual 6-meter sporadic E season. And this summer, we're looking forward to more of the sporadic E. The way the sunspot cycle is heating up much higher and faster than the so-called experts are predicting, except for one. We could have a really good chance for some good F2 propagation on 6 meters this summer, and that can give us some good transcontinental and intercontinental DX as well. I think you're going to see contacts on 6 meters from the eastern US to Europe and from the western US to Japan and Australia. So 6 meters is definitely going to be a band to watch this spring and summer. And in our awards column, we take a look at our own USACA awards, USA Counties Award, which is one of the more challenging awards to work for everything, but it's called among the USACA aficionados the whole ball of wax, which is 3,077 counties. So you've got to do a lot of talking on the radio to work 3,077 counties. And you'll pick up some good grid squares along the way, too. In our contesting column, N3QE is talking about providing tips on correctly copying serial numbers in contest exchanges. This is, he does a tremendous amount of research, and this is one of the things I love about his column. He's discovered that the most common mistakes that are made in incorrect log entries in contest submissions are not the call sign and not the multiplier, but the serial number in contests that require them, that they're just copied off. And he has some tips on how to copy them correctly. And just being aware of it, I think, is a good first step. And finally, in our propagation column, NW7US is talking about what I was just mentioning a minute ago, exceeding expectations. Cycle 25 is just blasting, and it's going to be a very, very exciting few years here as we approach and hit the peak of the cycle. So that's a quick look at the March issue of CQ. The digital edition should be in our digital subscribers' mailboxes tomorrow, and the print edition is in the mail. And I'm looking forward to seeing the actual copy myself. As we finish up working on April, that's,
All right.
I brought with me 2-inch-thick files. I couldn't fit my computer in my briefcase because the article files are so thick. So April is shaping up really nicely too. Of course, we're going to have the results of the 2022 CQ Worldwide Single Sideband Contest, but there's a lot of really other interesting stuff too, including, Tom, talk about ballooning and the situation going on with amateur radio balloons.
Well,
That's what we got coming up.
That's cool. And man, I tell you, it seemed like the months are going by so fast. Wasn't you just here last week? I mean, it seems like
it wasn't last
wow.
week, but I think we did the first week in February.
Yeah,
instead of the last
maybe
week in
so.
January. So it
I
has
don't
only
know,
been
man.
3 weeks.
I don't know, man. I mean, hey, I don't know. Maybe I should tell Glenn don't retire, because man, time is flying by fast here.
I hear you, man. I mean, tomorrow's March already.
Man, yeah. Well, hey, I'm looking forward to getting my printed copy of CQ, and sounds like some interesting things in here, and can't wait. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I love getting mine.
I may try that work all counties.
Yeah.
It's a years-long challenge, I'll tell you that.
I may set a goal, work all counties like in 6 months.
Good luck on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck.
Maybe you can work them, but then you got to confirm them.
Oh no,
that's all part
I
of
know
the
you had to do
challenge,
that.
too.
Well, yeah.
And as always, we encourage everyone to subscribe to CQ and read it every month, have it delivered to you, either your inbox or your mailbox. And you can get all the details and sign up at www.cq-amateur-radio.com.
Well, very good. All right. There's a question in the chat room. Does anybody know when the peak of this sunspot cycle is? I know we're starting to move into it, but when is it going to peak?
The projection for it is 2025. The rate that it's rising, if it could come sooner, or it could be an extended, very high peak. That would be wonderful. I mean, there's one solar scientist, Scott McIntosh, who has predictions that don't agree with everyone else, but it's beginning to seem like he's right. He is predicting that this is going to be one of the hottest cycles ever.
Wow. There's been some
maybe
good hot
even
cycles.
Competing with Cycle 19 back in the late 50s.
Yeah.
So we will see. Hopefully he's right, but even getting close will be just fine.
Well, we've got another question here. I don't know if you're the one with the answer, but the question is, when will CQ honor LOTW? What's that, Logbook of the World?
It's the Logbook of the World. We do honor Logbook of the World for Worked All Zones and the WPX awards. It's under the terms of an agreement with the ARRL, and under the terms of that agreement, we are only allowed to use logbook credits for those 2 awards at this point in time. It would be up to the league to permit us to use their credits for other awards, and this is where we're at the moment.
Okay,
it's just
so
WPX and WAZ.
The restrictions there are on the ARRL side, I guess,
Yes.
allowing you to do what you can with it. Okay, well, very good. Thanks for the answer to that. Let's see. Well, I guess that's it. Hey, Rich, thanks so much, man, for coming in here tonight and talking to us. And congratulations.
My pleasure, as always.
Congratulations
Thank you.
there on being a new grandfather. Or is it a great-great-grandfather, right? Which
Well,
one?
hopefully I'll be a good grandfather.
Just grandfather?
But,
Grandfather, huh?
my-
Okay. All right.
my
very good.
mother, who is 100 years old, is overjoyed at being a great grandmother.
Yeah.
So,
I've got a
she's,
picture. I've got a picture of me and 5 generations sitting together
cool.
on a doorstep, and you just can't get much longer than that, man. It just, man. All right, man. Well, hey,
Okay.
be happy. Thanks a lot for being with us, and go see the new grandchild. Okay.
Okay. Have
All
a good
right,
night,
man.
everybody.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Goodbye. All right. All right. Well, that was interesting. Okay. Well, you got your answer there on the LOTW. I don't use it. I don't use any logbook here, really.
Oh, I use it exclusively.
Oh, do you? Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Hey, Tom.
yeah. Hey, Bill. Go ahead, Bill.
I don't know. Ever since I updated Zoom, it does weird things like it's doing right now. But I just wanted to let you know that the aurora has been visible in the northern tier states, clear as far down as Colorado and Ohio. And I actually saw a little hint of them here in Alabama. So aurora propagation is possible during these events on 2 meters and 6 meters. So I go to spaceweather.com and it shows me the current solar possibilities of an aurora. So there's maps that show you the edge of the aurora. But aurora is a fun mode. It sounds like a whisper when you talk, and the CW sounds like it's just a raspy sound. So really fun to work aurora contests.
Yeah. Well, we got to get your Zoom fixed. It's doing crazy things there.
Ever
Tell you
since
what.
I updated it,
There you
it does this. It lasts for a little bit, and then it starts
Yeah.
um,
Well,
crazy things.
all right. Just take this as a warning. Next week we're going to start giving out demerits, and if you don't have it fixed next week, the demerits are going to start rolling out there. So, if I was you, I would
But
uninstall
you know,
it.
if you call
And
in
it's
sick,
I would
a
uninstall
docking
it,
and pay too.
uninstall it,
well,
and reinstall
here's
it.
the trick. If you call in sick, you get fewer demerits than
Well,
a
that's
bad
true.
signal.
That's true. That is true. Well, I don't know what to say, but we sure would like to see you. Yeah, when your picture's on there, you're looking good, but then you go away, So we got to get you fixed. If Glenn has to make a service call down there, Glenn, how long will it take you to get down to Huntsville? About 3
3
4
hours and
hours?
45 minutes.
How many? Hello?
3 hours and 45 minutes.
Okay. All right.
I've done it a time or two.
Yeah. We might have to send you down there on a service call. Now, do you think you can make Zoom work on Windows 3.1?
No, don't think
Oh,
so.
no.
And
Well,
You know, I
wait.
think-
That was DOS. That was DOS 3.1. I'm sorry.
I'm
Yeah.
DOS 6.2, Tom. I'm at least up to 6.2 DOS.
oh no, you
Yeah.
got to upgrade to 6.2.2. There's a lot of security issues with 6.2.
Well, and Bill uses those big old floppies. They're about 10 inches square.
Yep, the 8 inchers.
Oh, is it 8 inches? Yeah.
Yeah. So what's wrong with that?
Well, I don't know, man.
I mean,
we don't need.
AOL had those nice little coasters for the longest time.
Yeah.
Well, let me look at the name of my computer. Let's see. It says Altair. The other one is PDP.
Do you know that there is actually a company selling replica Altair 8800s? Or no, yeah, the 8800s that look just like it, and they are fully functional, and they're powered by an Arduino.
That's what I was going to ask, if they were on a Arduino. That's
I
great.
have one in the kit right here, and when assembled, it looks just like the original 8800 front panel.
That's amazing.
And it runs all of the original code, and they have a site with that code on it.
All right, guys. Let's see. What time is it? It's about 8:32. Everybody just take about a 1 minute break here, and we'll be back with you in about a minute or so. Cabin fever, spring into the new year with ICOM. ICOM's newest amateur FM transceiver is the IC V3500, and it's ready to hit the road with whatever you're doing. With a compact body and simple interface, this radio is a must for those looking for a long-range mobile with a fresh look. The IC-T10 is a rugged portable that meets or exceeds standard military testing. With an IP67 waterproof rating, the IC-T10 can withstand any field activities ahead. Hear any transmission and listen to FM broadcasts with the loud 1.5 watt speaker. The IC705 is a perfect sidekick and QRP companion. Base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers. It's a portable package. It covers HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at just over 2 pounds with an RF direct sampling. Most of the HF bands and IF sampling. The ID5100A is innovation and mobility taken to the next level. Designed from user input, the ID5100 offers an intuitive user interface experience with an industry-leading touchscreen display. Additionally, the ID5100 connects with Android devices and Bluetooth headsets via the optional Bluetooth module. The ID5100A is one of the most advanced dual-band mobiles on the market today. And last but not least is the ID52A. It's a VHF-UHF dual-bander with D-Star and FM dual-mode functions, and is the first handheld amateur radio with a full-color 2.3-inch waterfall display. This radio supports conventional FM communications and D-Star simplex repeater, regional, and worldwide calls over the D-Star Internet Gateway. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM Radio. All right, and we are back. We've got Bill with us tonight and Glenn with us tonight. Okay, hey, this will be a good time right here just to mention again. Most people have tuned in now, and we just took a quick break. If you're listening out there on WBCQ shortwave, we'd love to hear from you, man. Send us an email to tom@w5kub.com, and let us know where you are and how you're hearing the station there. Also, we need everybody. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm begging now for the subscribe button. Let's see, I got an arrow somewhere. That should help you right there to find that subscribe button. That'll help us out a whole lot right there. All right, let's see. Hey, tonight, a couple things I want to talk about tonight. I've got a video here that Alan did. It's about building a 49-to-1 UnUn. It's not a balun, it's a UnUn. And I'm going to talk a little about balun tonight and UnUns tonight. I've got a few here that just show you some homebrew ones here, but this is a little short video. It's probably about 6 or 7 minutes long, and I want you guys to see this. He actually bought this one in a kit. You can build it. You don't have to order the kit. You can just get the parts and get your own box and so forth. But let me see if I can get that on here for you. And we're gonna talk balance. This is for a half wave antenna. This is not for a random long wire, but it's for a half wave. Okay, so here we go, everybody. Here we go. Here we go. Is it working? Are you guys getting audio? Anybody?
We're not, but hang on. I've got the feed up here.
Okay. No audio. Okay. Let me stop it.
Yeah, and our audio was playing underneath
Okay,
it.
so that's what I suspected. Well, I suspected I didn't hear any audio there, so Got some weird things going on here tonight. Let me see if I can get the audio going. It should be pretty simple to get going here. Let me see. Well, stand by, everybody. Let's see. I'll put you on over here where you can see what I'm doing, and you can tell I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. That should be coming in right there. Should be coming in right there.
Connection.
Oh.
The SO239 for the antenna connection.
Okay.
Some additional hardware, some zip tie.
Okay, so we can see. We got a dirty jack, it looks like. Oh, we're going to jack it. Man, it came on. So we're going to try to start over here. We're going to try to start over.
Essentially a matching unit for an end-fed half-wave wire antenna. It'll handle 250 watts, operate over the HF frequency band, and present a 50 ohm impedance, or roughly a 50 ohm impedance, when feeding an end-fed half-wave antenna, which has 2.5 or 3 k ohms of impedance. So let's take a look at what we've got. A nice weatherproof enclosure with the weather stripping for it, and some hardware for both the counterpoise connection, the strain relief connection, the SO239 for the antenna connection, some additional hardware, some zip ties, the wire that we'll use to wind the transformer on the toroidal core, and then a really nice little PC board that we'll strap the core to and use that to bolt it down inside the box. The first step is going to be to drill the 5/8 or about 16 millimeter diameter hole for the SO239 connector, and best to mount that about a ½ an inch below the top surface here of the case. So I've just mounted it out with a marking gauge here, a little scratch mark in for my ½ inch. We'll measure halfway across and drill that hole. I'm using a step drill bit here because it's easy to kind of get down to the size we need. And that looks like a perfect fit. So we'll just mark and drill the 4 mounting holes for the flange. Look at the first hole marked. We'll just drill that one, bolt it down, and then use the mounting plate as a guide for the other 3. And with the 1 bolt installed, we'll use the flange as a guide for drilling the other holes. Next, we drill a 13/64 hole, about 4 millimeters, next to the SO239 to mount the stud for the counterpoise. We got the SO239 and counterpoise stud just mounted loosely for now, so I can keep track of the hardware. On the other end, we're going to drill 2 more holes, one for the strain relief, and the other for the stud that will be used to actually connect the end-fed half-wave wire. Location is really not that important. We're going to put the strain relief about in the center, just for balance. And that basically completes the mechanical machining for the housing. Let's get started on the transformer. The first 2 turns of the transformer are bifilar wound, so I'm going to take about 8 inches of the wire, hold it back on top of itself, and give it a couple of light twists to keep it together. And that should do nicely. Now there's going to be a total of 14 turns. The first 2 turns composed of the double wire, and then the remaining 12 will be just the single wire. And remember, you count a turn each time the wire passes through the center. So here's our first 2 turns that are going to be done with the double wire. After this, we go single. Now with the first 6 turns completed, we're going to essentially cross over the coil. We're going to come out and then start wrapping around this way back to this direction. And that's going to do 2 things for us. It tends to somewhat break up the inner winding capacitance. And it's also going to ensure that the final winding completes on this side of the toroid, which is where we want it to be inside the housing. All right, so let's count our turns here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have our 14 turns, primary and secondary output. Cut the loop off the twisted part here. Now we're just going to strip the insulation off the ends of each of these wires and tin them nicely so we can solder them into the connectors. Now with that pair of wires stripped and soldered, we'll just strip and tin the other side of the primary and then do the far end of the secondary. Now that the transformer is all prepared, let's mount it to the mounting plate using the supplied zip ties. Okay, I'm just careful to make sure we orient the wires appropriately before we cinch down the zip ties. And it looks like we're in good shape. In order to connect the flange of the SO239 and the counterpoise stud, I added another little wire pigtail here to connect the two terminals, and I've got the other terminal connected here for the secondary. We're ready to mount it in and connect everything up. I wish my fingers were a little smaller to get in there, but we got those screws all started. I'll just cinch the bracket down, and then we'll make our connections. This is probably the trickiest part of the mechanical assembly, is just getting these small washers and nuts in place, and then fitting in both of the terminals with the short wire between them. And I use the star washers on either side of the terminals to make a good bite into those. We just need to attach the stud for the end-fed wire, and we're about wrapped up. Okay, and that completes the installation of the stud for the end-fed wire. Mechanically, it's really complete. All we need to do is install the weather gasket in the cover and attach the cover. Now the kit also comes with this 100 picofarad capacitor that the instructions say to solder across the primary, across the SO239, but mainly in applications at the higher end of the frequency bands like 15, 12, and 10 meters. My application, I'm going to use this primarily on 40 and maybe a little on 20. So I'm going to leave the capacitor out. Maybe at some point I'll mount it inside and maybe even put it on a switch so I can switch it back and forth in circuit and out of circuit. But for now, it's going to stay out. As we stated at the beginning, this is a 49-to-1 UnUn. So it's designed to transform the 2500 or 3000 ohm impedance of an end-fed half wave to 50 ohms. So in order to test it, I've soldered a couple of 1K carbon copper resistors together and attached them from the antenna feed point to the counterpoise, and we'll take a look at it on the analyzer. All right, so let's first check it on the 40 meter band. Let's see, 40 meters will be 3. And we'll do a quick little SWR chart. And yeah, it looks like we're about 1.3 to 1, transforming that 3K ohms down to 50 ohms. That's pretty good. Take a look at 20 meters and sweep that. 1.34 to 1. That looks pretty darn good there. Now let's look at some of the other bands. Let's look at 15. I expect it might be a little bit higher. Yeah, so it's a little under 2 to 1, and we could see it rising. So certainly, probably above 15 meters, we'd need that 100 picofarad capacitor. But in my case, operating on 40 meters and 20 meters, looks like it'll work out great. Just for the heck of it, we'll sweep the entire range of the analyzer here. And we can certainly see an optimum operating frequency range. If we scoot over there, we can see we're below 1.5 to 1 from, about a portion of the 75 meter band here. Might be able to get away with using it on the 75 meter band. And we stay below 1.5 to 1 all the way up to about 17 megahertz. So we might be able to get away with even using this on 17 meters. We're still below 2 to 1. So pretty good over most of the usable portions of the lower HF operating bands. Last thing is just to apply the sticker, and we are all done with this build. I think it was a really nice high quality 49 to 1 transformer, and it's going to work out really well for some end-fed half-wave wire antennas in the future. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. And thanks again, as always, for watching. See you next time.
All right, so let's see. All right, I want to make sure I get that video stopped. Okay, so hey, there you go, man. It's a real simple build. That was a kit that he bought, I think, online. I'm not sure the cost. Someone asked the cost. Just do a search for 49 to 1 UnUn, and I'm sure a lot of people probably are offering it out there. And look at the different ones they offer and pick out the one you like. That was a really nice in a nice little box. Here's let's see. Here's one I built. Let me stop the video. All right. So here's one very similar I built, and I just home brewed it right here. It looks very similar. SO239 on the bottom, and I've got a wing nut here for a counterpoise, if you want to use a counterpoise on it. I've got eye bolt here to hang it, and then here's where the antenna connects right here. So the eye bolt would hang it here, and what I would do, I'd bring my wire this way, tie my wire through this eyelet here, and then connect it to the wing nut up here at the top. Let me open it up. This is just a regular electrical box. I'm going to open it up and show you what I did in this one. So this is just a regular electrical box that I got at Lowe's, and man, it cost me almost nothing. You know, with a military discount, I almost get it free. So anyway, there it is. There's your, you know, very same wiring in there that you saw that Alan had. Now, if you look, let me tilt this. You'll see instead of one toroid here, you're going to see a couple. There's going to be two in here. Well, I don't know if you can see it in here or not. There's two of them in here.
Barely see them. There's
two in here that I wound to give me more power. This should be good, close to a kilowatt. The single core is probably good up to a couple hundred watts, probably on sideband if you want to build one with just a single. And you can buy all these parts, you know, online or, you know. But you know what?
Did you use in that?
What was that, Glenn?
What toroid cores did you use?
You know, I'm not sure. I have to look that up again. Probably it's an FT something. I don't know. I don't know. We'll look and see.
Yeah. That was one thing in Orlando. There was not a single vendor selling toroid.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Man.
I was looking to buy some. And
Yeah.
not a single one sold those.
That's probably the most expensive part in here. So, So look, here's a commercial one here. This is one by Ballon Designs, and Bob always donates one of these for our webcast. He makes some powerful, great Ballons and UnUns, and you can see it looks like he used the same box here, actually, to tell you the truth. And but he uses stainless steel hardware. You can get these from Ballon Designs. This is a 2-to-1. I had it built for my Delta Loop. That's a 2-to-1. I don't know if you can read that or not.
No, it's real hard to read. Just yeah. Now I can see it.
This is a 2-to-1 here, and look at that, 3,000 watt. And Bob says, you know, you asked Bob, said, well, Bob, what if, you know, I'm running high power. What if I burn that thing up? He says, hey, I'll send you another one. That thing is 3,000 watts, and it is well built. He does a lot of Ballon builds for the military too. So that's
I want to build me an end fed, and I forget the ratio the end fed needs.
Well, the end fed, it depends. If it's the end fed random or long wire, it's going to take a 9-to-1. If it's a half wave, it takes the 49-to-1. Okay, the impedance of a half wave antenna is about 2,000 to 3,000 ohms. So 49-to-1 is what you would use there. And I built my son one and sent it down to Texas. He's using it right now on his radio. Man, you know, no tuner required. It works with just about every band out there.
That's what I want to play with, is the no tuner required part.
Yeah. So here's let's see. That's I showed you the 2-to-1. You know, you can buy these from a lot of companies already built. Here's a 1-to-1. You know, Ballon 1-to-1. That's for dipole. You just put your wires on here like that, and then loop them down to you know, the wire on each side. That's a 1-to-1 right there. I try to build some of mine. So look, here's a couple of my homebrew ones right here. Here's a 4-to-1. There's a 4-to-1 right there. And you can see I just used some adapters and PVC pipe and just made them fit together. And PVC pipe here for the enclosure, a cap on it, and drill it out. I would recommend using stainless steel hardware on here because it will rust after, you know, a year or two up there. But this is kind of cool. That's a 4-to-1. That would be used on something like a off-center fed. Your off-center fed antenna is going to need something like a 4-to-1. Here's one I had on the antenna back in my other home I built. This is a 6-to-1. Look at this. There's a 6-to-1 right there. I don't know what I'd use it for right now, but anyway, it's pretty cool. And you can test them very easily just by taking you a resistor, the carbon composition resistors. If you're trying to match a 200 ohms, put your 200 ohm resistor across the side of the balun. Put your antenna analyzer in the coax connector, and you ought to see the SWR very, very low there. So that's some baluns, and some of the baluns that I build there, just using PVC pipe. It's a pretty simple thing to do. Some of these, and here's one right here. Look at this. This is really not Tupperware, but it's like a kitchen, kitchen little container. Let me open it up. This is a 1-to-1.
Does Kathy know that you're stealing her kitchen? This is
a 1-to-1, and it's just wound on an air core. Right there, you can see the coax connector at the bottom, and then we got the antenna connections, one on each side. That's a 1-to-1 with an air core, again, wound on a piece of PVC pipe. And just look in the handbook. There's very simple instructions for building the baluns, and they're easy to do. Or you can buy one, and I think that you can probably buy a kit pretty close to maybe what you buy the parts for, and that might be the way to go on your first ones that you build there. All right, so what do you think? Let's see. Some shiny surfaces.
Does Kathy know that some of her containers are missing?
Well, I don't know. She probably knows now. Well, she's not watching the show. Yeah, she's not watching. Let's see. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, and Ken, KC1 PFS. This is basically when you talk these balun and UnUns, you're basically just talking about an impedance transformer.
Yep.
That will match your rig's 50 ohm output to the antenna, which has a much different impedance. And for the 49-to-1, your impedance is up in the thousands.
Okay, Ken says that he didn't understand this. They should put this in the ham test. Now, I would have thought that a balun might have shown up in the ham test somewhere. Anybody out there taking a ham test the past year or two, did it have any mention of baluns or matching antennas? Be interesting to know if that maybe they left it completely out of the test. I don't know. I just don't know. All right. Let's see. All right. What was that?
I said I think I was looking at the off-center fed at in Orlando and thinking I wanted to build my own. So it would be the 4-to-1 balun.
Yeah, 4-to-1. And the off-center, I guess this antennas have been around for years. But when I in the '60s, when I was a novice, of course, just learning about ham radio, didn't know a whole lot about it. Knew more about electronics than I did about radio and RF, but I never knew of the off-center fed antenna when I was a novice. That would have been a great antenna because
neither did I. Yeah.
If I remember, I just had a dipole up for like 80 or 40, I think, and that was about it, man. I just didn't have a lot of antenna up, but the off-center fed antenna actually works pretty well. And,
I had a 15-meter beam, a 2-element beam on 15, and that's all I had.
Yeah.
I had a tri-band fan dipole stretching the length of the roof of my parents' house. It went from one end to the other, and we put 2x4s in either eave and stretched the wires between them. They worked great.
Yeah, and now was that a resonant dipole or was that?
They were 40, which also covered 15.
Yeah.
20 and 10 meters. I had three wires up.
Well, I didn't even have a tuner then, and really, I didn't. I guess I really didn't want one. Maybe I don't know, but you put a doublet up, you can pretty much tune it on any frequency, with a tuner. So that might have been a good deal to have back then, but we just didn't have it,
Yeah.
Don't
I just
know.
watched my 807 glow cherry red.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Glenn, that off-center fed, and I've got an off-center fed out back right now on my remote base. I've got a TS570 here that I showed on the show where we built a remote base here, and to make it multi-band, with connecting in remotely, I can change the bands easily, but I don't have to change the antenna. With the off-center fed antenna, it's a multi-band antenna, so it just automatically, switches. And, the nice thing about the off-center fed antenna is kind of neat. It's kind of neat the way the thing works, guys. If you take like a 75-meter dipole, in the center, you're feeding the center, it's probably about 70 ohm impedance. And that's, your 50 ohm coax is a fair match to that. But, an off-center fed, what they found out, somebody smarter than me, was if you move that feed point from the center toward the ends, the impedance changes, and it changes pretty rapidly there. And if you draw the graphs for each of the band, you'll actually see there's one point in there where the impedance is fairly low on every band, and it's about 200 ohms or so on every band. So if you match that with a 4-to-1, you're matched for every band there, and that's how they get by doing that. But I was real surprised, Glenn, with the half wave infed. I've got a place here to put a counterpoise on here, but it's not always necessary. A lot of times your coax can become your counterpoise, but then again, the length of your coax might greatly affect how well that works. So, a counterpoise, some of them are short as 3 and 4 feet, make a big difference. But another thing you can do, you could actually roll your coax up in like a dirty ballon, a certain distance from this, and then that makes that piece of coax from that ballon up to from that dirty ballon, the one you wound by your hand, from there up to your infed box, I'll call it. That actually makes that your counterpoise, not the whole piece of coax, because it stops when it gets to that dirty ballon down there. And so that's one thing you can do. And the infed antenna, the impedance stays about the same whether it's horizontal or up at a 45 degree or straight up. I've got a couple infed verticals out there that I built, and they work out really great. And so this is one way of matching. I recommend this. Infed antenna is you could take some ladder line, take a quarter wave ladder line, and put that on the base of on the end of your half wave wire, and you can tap into it. You short the bottom out, and you tap into it a foot or two. And this is all in the handbook and places, and that will actually tune the impedance and match that antenna, and it's pretty cool. So I had my vertical up, and I had my ladder line, running horizontal about a foot off the ground for matching. And I went out and looked at it after I tested it one day, and it was on fire, and the ladder line was actually dripping little balls of fire out there on plastic. But you know what? An infed antenna has a lot of voltage on it, so guys, be careful, man. Don't touch the ends of it for sure. All right, so wish we had known about this kind of stuff when I got into the ham radio. But
Absolutely, yes.
I didn't.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah. Man, oh man. So, you know, we learn a lot. Hey, we can tell the new kids, right? We can tell them. We can tell them all the tricks, and you know, things have improved a whole lot since we've been in ham radio. Believe me, man.
Well, they've just done so much more research. You know, I almost bought that off-center fed. They had a short one at 50-something feet, and I almost bought that at Orlando. And by the time I decided to buy it on Sunday, that vendor had already gone home.
Now that was what an in-fed?
No, it was an off-center fed.
Oh, an off-center fed.
But it was the shorter version. It was like 58 feet worth.
Yeah.
Which would fit the
was
top
that
of
for
my roof
like?
just perfect.
Was that like for 40 meters and up?
No, it was all band.
Did they have a loading coil in it?
No, it was 80 through 10.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
No tuner needed. And I'm like, I would like to have studied that a little bit more, but again, you know, I didn't buy it Saturday. And when I went back to buy it on Sunday, it was gone. They were gone. So I'll just have to catch them at Dayton or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know, I forget. We talked last week. What did you bring me back from? What did you bring me back from Hamcation? You're supposed to bring me back something good.
Oh, I brought you back some empty candy wrappers.
Were they Zag nuts?
Yeah.
I love Zag nuts.
No, when I won that power supply, I had
that's
to
right.
leave all of the stuff I bought for you there because I just didn't have room and I didn't have weight.
Oh man.
You know,
Oh
so
well. Okay. Yeah.
you're just gonna have to go on your own.
Yeah. Well, I guess I
You know,
can
I
do
can't be trusted with that kind of stuff.
that. All right. Hey, we got Bill in here, and let's talk a little about some of our Pico stuff going on. Give you guys an update on W5KUB 112, guys. It went down. I'll just say we stopped hearing from it about 3 days ago. It's very possible. A little solar cells could have snapped, or a wire broke, or who knows what. But the last report, the altitude was just still good. It hadn't been sliding downward or anything, but I'm guessing it probably came down somewhere in the Middle East. It was projected to be somewhere over, probably, I'm guessing, near Syria, when we didn't hear any more reports. So it was up 257 days, and I think that was a good run to be up that long. Let's see, I've got a picture here of the, here we go, guys. The red is W5KUB 112, and you can see it made a number of nice trips all over the place. Somebody mentioned we ought to see how many countries we actually crossed in these flights here. Maybe that's like working grid squares now, working countries by passing over them. But it went around the world maybe 13 times. It's hard to say exactly because it went up in the Arctic 2 or 3 times. It was gone for weeks, and then it would pop back out like over Russia or somewhere. So we don't know if it went around and popped out in Russia or if it went backwards or what. Now, the interesting thing about 112 is the first lap it took, I think, if I remember right, it took like 72 days to make the first lap around the world. And actually, it almost did something that is very uncommon, and that is it went all the way past Japan. It was about to make that first lap, and then it turned around, and it went backwards. It went east to west. It went backwards all the way past Mexico to the west of Mexico, and then circled back around and headed back again. So I'd say we went probably 80% around the world backwards on probably its first flight here. So if you look at that, the green, let me just mention the green line.
Call that a retrograde orbit.
What was that, Bill?
That's a retrograde orbit.
Yeah, I guess. So hey, if you look at the green or blue, and this is a map that we're developing to track. This is tracking since launch here, and if you look at the blue, or I guess that's green there, you can see it started out in the northern hemisphere. It went around the world about 3 times or so, and then the sucker headed south, and it crossed the equator and went down and looped over Africa, and it went on down almost to Antarctica, and it's been floating around down here with the Antarctica balloons the past couple months, and I don't think it's going to come back up. But
I think it decided that it was unsafe to fly in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah.
Safer areas.
well, the crew on that particular 113, that's Larry, Darrell, and his other brother Darrell, and they may be smarter than we think. This all started happening about the time that we were starting to see the balloon spying and stuff. So you're right, Bill. I think you're right. I think they probably went south.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting about all of this is you're talking 12, 13 times around the world, 200 something days in the air. And I remember when we first started out, we were lucky to get one. I mean, we made it 3/4 of the time, or just barely got across the Atlantic.
Well, that reminds me, hey, Bill, this was our very first flight right here, and you launched it for us, guys. This is W5KUB-1, and this is a real party balloon. This is one of the little silver or pancake party balloons right here, and man, it was doing good. 14,000 miles. It already passed Japan. And I thought, man, on our first flight, man, we're going to make it around the world. And, oh, man, we went 14,000 miles in 14 days. And then we hit a terrible storm there off the coast of Japan. And it went down on April 25th, 2019. So that was our first flight. We take all of our flights seriously. I don't know who the crew was on it. I think the crew, well, that may have been Huey, Dewey, and Louie. They may have been rescued, though. And, just to give you guys a little background about our flights, we probably have new people. Probably have new people in our chat room tonight. Someone asked us once, how do you steer the balloon? And we came up with a story that it has to be very light. This is what the tracker looks like right here. It has to be very, very light. This thing almost floats. So we said we have special trained ants, and they went through a 1-year training school to learn how to fly and steer this thing. So we had Huey, Dewey, and Louie were the crew that have been on many of our flights since then. And, in the first, like Glenn was mentioning, in the first year or two, we were making it around the world, but we were also crashing, maybe after one lap around the world, or maybe after 3 laps or something like that. We were crashing. The whole game has changed here this past year, man. I mean, back when we started, I figured, and it was probably pretty accurate, if you wanted to go around the world, you had to launch 10 times, and you might make it 1 time. We made it on our 9th trip around, our 9th trip. Nowadays, with the new 4 Gore balloons that we're starting to fly, I can just about guarantee you it's going to go around the world your first lap. I mean that's just how dependable it is. So we've lost we've gone down several times, and I've got some pictures here from some previous flights, and let's look at them real quick here. The ants were always rescued. We had a good search and rescue team. Here's flight, here's 104. It went down. This one I think went around 3.5 times around the world. And there's Huey and Louie. I think that was a 2-man crew on that one. But this photo was taken by one of our recovery planes after we spotted them and used direction finding to find their location. This is out in the North Atlantic right here. It's pretty cold there, but they're doing okay. We lost another another flight off the coast of Mexico here. We were doing really good there, but you can see the crew looks like they're in pretty good shape. A Mexican fishing boat came by and rescued them and snapped this picture here while just soon after they hit the water there. Now let's see. We've had here's one here that crashed in. Where is this, Bill? Bedouin. You know where that is, Bill?
Tribes.
What
That's
is it?
over in the
I'm
Middle
guessing-
Eastern deserts.
I'm guessing that's over in the desert there. But here, Huey, Dewey, you see Huey and Dewey right here. They walked 2 days in the desert there and finally met up with some friendly Bedouin tribes, and we got them back. And then, hey, we did lose one in, I guess, in China or Western China or over in that area there. And we wasn't sure how we were going to get them out. And I think it took them a day or two of marching around and hiding, digging in the sand and hiding. But they were rescued by some friendly Tibetan monks there. They rescued the crew of 22. So, we've had some pretty good luck rescuing the crew. Now, I have not heard anything. We've had no reports on this flight after 257 days. Huey, Dewey, and Louie, we don't know if they're going to be found dead or alive. We just do not know. But once we hear something, we will let you guys know.
Hey,
What-
Tom, I
yeah.
understand that I've heard a rumor that the crew of 114 were rescued by a group of penguins.
Yeah, they may have been. We haven't heard from them. I'm glad we got that message back, Bill. Do penguins?
Yeah, that was
penguins,
mine.
Penguins don't eat ants, do they?
No.
What do penguins? They eat fish,
Yeah,
don't
I
they?
can't wait to see the graphic when you get that photo of their rescue from Antarctica.
Yeah. Hopefully more information will come in on that. Let's see. Let me look in the chat room here. See what's going on in the chat room. I see your note there, Bill, about launching the buoy. I was reading yesterday where they're starting to find some of these buoys up in the whatever ocean it is north of I guess up in the Arctic up there. There's some buoys that are floating.
That'd be the Bering Sea,
Okay,
probably.
there's some up there, and it's supposed to be China tracking submarines. So now they're going to be looking for any floating buoys, probably. Let's see.
No. Now they're going to be depth charging ham
Yeah,
radio.
yeah. Depth charging, probably. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah. Now, okay, they start that stuff. We're going to start doing submarines.
Yeah. Well, I think our equipment is, Bill. I think our equipment is pretty stealth. The one that came down, that was silver. I think that's why they found it. I'm just not sure they're seeing. I don't think they
pretty
saw.
That,
You what?
a luminized balloon would probably produce a pretty good radar signature, but I don't see that the antenna wire would produce that much of a signature. It probably does, but not nearly as much as a luminized balloon.
Yeah, and of course we're flying that very clear
The
balloon.
clear ones would probably
Yeah.
be the way to go. From now
Yeah.
on.
So look, hey guys, let me show you. I can't even see it here. Look. I can't even see it here. So I just wonder, man,
Yeah, there you go. The stealth balloon.
This is stealth. We're flying stealth mode. There it is right there, guys. You think radar is going to reflect off this? I mean, I don't know. But we'll see, man. Maybe they got a new type radar that picks up hydrogen or something. Oh, man. Let's see. All right. So that's kind of the kind of the scoop on that. And if you didn't see the things before, there was a lot of interest in the balloons. Here's a picture of somebody chasing the China balloon right here. And it says here he followed that Chinese balloon for 200 miles until he realized it was poop on his windshield. I guess he probably got let down pretty fast about that. And here we go right here. I feel a need for speed. Calm down, dude. You just popped the balloon. And let's see what else we got here. Let me see what we got. What is this? Oh, Bill, we never heard back from those guys. I know the pandemic was going big, but guys, this is one of our flights that went down in Poland.
I'll try and get a hold of them again and see when they plan to fly that.
Yeah, this is one of our
down in Poland.
This one came down in Poland. That's the Polish Amateur Radio Club. They've recovered. I'm not sure. I have to look up the flight number of that, but our intent was to have them relaunch it, and we were going to be the first to land in a country, regas, and take off and come back all the way around the world again. So
that was right about a half mile from the shore of the Baltic Sea. Not even that. It was very close to going into the sea. Yeah.
So if any of you guys out there want a Huey, Louie, and Dewey T-shirt, we've got the Huey, Dewey, and Louie T-shirts, the W5KUB 112. They're kind of famous now after 250 something days. Let's do this. Let's open the phone lines real quick and see if anybody wants to join us. And I've got a thing here on phone lines, wherever it is. Let's see. Can't find it. All right, I'm gonna copy the link, guys, for the phone for Zoom. If you want to join us on Zoom, you can join us here. Just click on this link, and you will come into the show and be on Zoom with us. People will see you all over the world, and if anybody is tuned in outside the world, they will also see you. So here's the link. I'm gonna post it right here. So we'll call this after the show, and we'll invite everybody in here. I'm looking for my graphics here for after the show. Man, oh, there it is. Got too many up here. So after the show is happening now, guys. The other show is finished. Hey, if you're out there listening on shortwave, you're listening to Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about ham radio, shortwave, and electronics. Glad to have you. Thanks for joining us tonight. And you can join us live watch the video show and join our chat room if you tune in on Tuesdays, 8 o'clock p.m. on W5KUB.com. All right. So I just posted the link there.
Hey, I got a little something, Tom.
Yeah, go right ahead.
This is that Dr. Duino inventor board that I just completed the review on.
Yeah.
Looks like it will be in the June issue of QST, probably.
Yeah.
And this is a really handy development platform. It uses the STM32, so it's a much faster, more powerful Arduino. And it just got all kinds of features like LEDs, a relay, breadboard area, and it's even got a little MP3 player, and it's got a speaker on the back. So you can actually
that's cool.
Have this thing play MP3s and all that kind
of
stuff.
Now, what did you say that looks like an ESP32?
It is. It's the ESP30. Did I say STM? Yeah, it's ESP32.
Yeah, that's what we put in our VFO here. That's
which has good. Built-in Wi-Fi, Bluetooth BLE.
Right.
And it's like a 240 megahertz dual-core processor. So this thing's a monster. And this will be a great new development platform if you're going to be building larger, more powerful Arduinos projects. This is where I'm going. And matter of fact, I'm going to be trying to breadboard up that YouTube retro VFO here in the next week or two.
Okay. All right. Very good. Hey, I sent a note inviting Dr. Arduino to the show, but I never heard back from him.
All right, I will get on him.
Yeah.
Because
I
I'm
know
sure
you know
he
him,
wants
so
to be here.
yeah. All right. Well, it looks like it's going to be a slow night here. There we go. Who we got there? W8LV, that is Bill. Let's get Bill in here. We'll get Bill in here, and we've got, I need a larger monitor over there.
W5 DPH, Brent.
Yeah, Brent's in there. Yep. All right. Hey, we may break a record tonight. We've got 2 new people that join our Zoom here. All right, guys, I want everybody to call this Zoom number. I'm going to give everybody in the chat room a demerit if you don't call in. You don't want that to happen. All right. Okay. Do we have? We got Bill there. We got Bill and we got Brent. Hey, let's take Bill first. How you doing, Bill? Bill there? Bill's microphone is muted.
Bill, unmute yourself first.
Bill,
All we can, we're not good lip readers.
let's try Brent. Brent, your mic's also muted. Are you there, Brent? Hello? Okay, I guess I have to.
No, I wasn't. I was muted.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I'd rather talk. My signing is probably not perfect. How you doing, man? Where you
All
located there, Bill? Where are you located?
Oh, I'm in Circleville, Ohio, and I was just mentioning in the other chat there. I think it's time for Huey, Dewey, and Louie to enter maritime service.
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure what that is. What is it?
Join the Navy.
Oh,
I think you could probably. I think it'd be interesting to see some marine beacons.
well, there's some out there, and Bill was just mentioning that. There have been a number of them put out over the past year or two.
That'd be an awesome thing. I'd like to see one. If you dropped one in the river there, see where it goes.
I
See
thought
one
about putting one in the Mississippi. I'm here at the Mississippi River at Memphis. I thought
Right,
about putting one
right.
in, but there's so much traffic out there, and it would get hung up in a bunch of trees, or down trees, or on a sandbar. I don't think it'd make it. But the ones out in the ocean, Bill, tell us about the ones in the ocean out there.
Bill, you could go to Lake Erie and watch it go over to Lake Ontario and over to Niagara Falls. And
That would be awesome.
That would be an awesome one. But the students there at W6SUN and near San Diego, they Mount Carmel High School, they built several buoys out of PVC pipe, a CB whip, and a loading coil, and 26 D-cell batteries, and one of my little whisper boards, and we modified it to be used as a buoy, and it was getting great signals. I mean, you imagine saltwater is the ultimate in ground plane, and it was being copied all over the world. And of course, the speed's a little different than these balloon flights. They're only going, about 1 knot an hour, or a fraction of a knot sometimes. It only took a mile in a whole day. But some of them went almost 400 miles, several hundred miles before they stopped transmitting. They lasted 6 months, anywhere from 4 to 6 months on the ones they did with all those D cells. They used the D cells as ballast to keep the antenna upright.
Well, I like what you first said. Let's send Huey, Dewey, and Louie over Niagara Falls.
There you go.
Yeah.
That would be
That
kind
would
of
be
cool.
very
That'd be cool watching it on the map as it approached Niagara Falls, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun.
Yep.
All right. Well,
Of course, there's always a possibility in the Niagara Falls of Somali pirates, U.S. Navy, Royal Navy, Canadian Navy. You never know.
Yeah. So, hey, Bill, you got any snow up there?
Not at all. Not at all. It's
Okay.
supposed to be 70 Fahrenheit here tomorrow.
I guess
Somebody mentioned a snowblower in the chat. I
Yeah.
bought one several years ago too. I've never used it here. I'm just south of Columbus. South of Columbus, Ohio. I've never used it.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's pick up. Is Brent? Brent's there. Hey, Brent, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing okay. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing fine, man. Where are you located?
I'm in Lawton, Oklahoma.
Lawton, Oklahoma. I spent 2 weeks out there in the woods in the mountains of Fort Sill while they shot artillery over me.
Yep, I remember you talking about it last week.
Yeah. That's what I remember about Lawton. I was stationed out in Altus. Of course, you know where that is.
Yeah, it's about 6 inches above hell.
That's right, man. It is.
I was at Fort Sill too, and when our plane landed, I could see whitecaps on all the ponds down below us. It was about a 50-mile-an-hour crosswind, and when I landed, I asked the pilot, was that an unusual day? And he said, "This is a calm day out here."
Yeah. Well, when they dropped us out there, Bill, temperature was like 5 degrees with the wind blowing like 40 miles an hour, man.
Well, see, what you don't know is you were saying they were shooting over your head.
Yeah.
That's not what they were aiming for. They just didn't have the range right.
Well, they didn't have the range right. We could definitely hear it going over us out there. I mean, I didn't feel threatened or anything like that, but that was an interesting 2 weeks out there. Yeah, had a lot of fun. Would I do it again? Yeah, I'd rather not. But,
No, see, while you were all doing that, I was just nice and comfortable in an air-conditioned room watching them test the jet engines.
Yeah. Well, hey, Brent. I guess you're in your shack there. I saw some background a minute ago. I saw. Did I see a loop antenna or something back there? Maybe it's something. Maybe it's not a loop antenna.
That's it right there. That's the AL 705. The antennas, the ICOM version of their loop antenna.
Okay.
Never use it. It's very difficult to. I don't have enough patience for it, so I just use a little.
I built the loop here about I don't know 36 or 40 inches in diameter, and put a little motorized capacitor on it and everything, and it was it seemed real touchy. It's got a very narrow bandwidth, and I didn't expect it to perform like an antenna I got out in the trees, especially down here in the house. But I really never used it.
Yeah, they're really, really touchy. They react to the capacitance of your body when you're tuning it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and pretty high voltage on that thing too. Real high voltage.
Yeah. I got it for the ICOM 705, and unfortunately, ICOM 705 is very touchy when it comes to common mode. And if it gets any common mode on it at all, and it's hooked to your computer, say you wanted to do digital or something like that, it just kind of wipes out your USB connection to your computer. So your sound card goes down and all that. It practically requires a reboot of your computer. So I prefer to do everything wirelessly, and I'll use a resonant antenna.
Yeah. At least get the antenna out away from you and get away from the RF. Yeah.
The loop, you got to have it right there because you got to tune it.
That's true. And I always, like a loop antenna always basically transmits, the lobes are on each side, broadside to it, but on a loop antenna like that, the lobes are off the edges, out in the same plane as the loop, and that's something I learned, and I don't know why. But it's different. So if you're going to aim that, you'd have to aim the edge of that loop for where you wanted to talk, I guess.
Yeah, one advantage to it is you can null some local noise out with it, so it is quiet.
Uh-huh.
So that's about the only advantage to it. It's kind of top heavy. So if you have any wind at all, you have to hold it down. I don't know. I don't use it. I use resonant antenna on the 705, or I have a tuner.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thought about taking that loop and putting it outside, maybe putting a rotor on it, but then I'm thinking, why do I want to do that outside? I'll just put a dipole or something on it and rotate it, you know. Wow. All right. Well, hey, I miss Lawton. I miss Altus, you know. 19 tornadoes one night, man. Didn't y'all have some tornadoes here recently?
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah.
They blew up just right north of us. If you're familiar with Fort Sill, right north of Fort Sill is Mears.
Yeah.
They blew up.
Well, yeah, I saw on the news the tornado there at Lawton, and man, I mean, that's real tornado alley out there. I remember we were out there in Altus. We had 19 of them one night, and the sirens kept blowing, and they finally announced on the radio that they were turning the sirens off to let them cool. The next day, my neighbor dug a storm cellar out in his backyard.
They blow the storm sirens around here when we have high wind, so we hear it all the time.
Oh, wow.
It's actually kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
Actually, didn't they say we're supposed to start getting some nasty weather maybe tomorrow or thereabouts?
You know, I don't know.
I know it's supposed to rain and thunderstorms tomorrow.
I don't know. Well, I'm jumping on Amtrak. I'm going down to New Orleans Thursday morning.
I just heard today that they're going to have a train starting up from Miami to Orlando.
Huh. Well,
A high-speed train, and I'm like, man, I'm all in for that.
you would think they would have that today down there. I would think. I mean,
Well, they're just now getting around to it, and it's supposed to start up like in April.
yeah. But trains is like old stuff, man. You know.
Well, these are the high-speed stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've always had trains there, but not the high-speed stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
I'll have to go down and try it and let you know.
Yeah, I drove a couple years ago. I drove up to Orlando for the Hamfest from Miami. Man, that's a long drive up there, especially going around that big old lake, Okonoka, or whatever it is.
Yeah, Okeechobee.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
But they need to build a bridge. They need to build a bridge across that lake. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that's a long way. It's about a 4-hour drive from Miami.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when I lived in West Palm, I cut like an hour and a half off that drive, but it was still a long drive.
Oh yeah. Let's see.
Who's going to Huntsville?
We'll be there. We'll be webcasting it.
Oh,
I'll
that's
be there.
fantastic. I'm going to go. You know, I'm
Cool.
a nurse. You guys know, a registered nurse. I didn't expect to survive COVID. I decided to make some changes here, and I'm going to have a little bit of fun. So I am going to go to Dayton, of course, because it's so close by.
Yeah.
I'm going to win the grand prize this year, by the way, because I am buying 38,000 tickets. So I figure I've got it.
You probably
And,
you'll have a
I'm
good
100%
chance.
38,000 tickets.
You'll have a
Yeah, I figure I'll be ahead that way because it'll still probably be less than what the grand prize is.
Well, yeah, but there's one little detail that I think you're overlooking.
Yeah.
What's that?
You have not factored in the Joe Eisenberg factor.
And you got to watch out.
is
You
that right?
got to watch out too.
Yeah, that.
You got to watch out because you got to watch out for that 38,001 ticket that's in there.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Eisenberg won 4
Well,
prizes in Orlando.
I tell you,
Oh
Bill.
my goodness.
I'll tell you, we're not going to go to Dayton this year. We've gone 40 consecutive years, and
Yep.
I'm getting a little old to do it.
Understandable.
You know, I just wasn't really impressed with it. I guess I'm wore out, or you know, it's just I don't, you know, I'm just going to make a change, but we will continue. Huntsville's a lot closer to us. It's about a 4-hour drive versus a 10-hour drive, and we will go there.
Yep.
I will tell you this, that we got COVID at Huntsville last year when we came home.
Well, I got 5 immunizations, so I'm hoping I won't be getting it.
Well,
I actually
I've
got it.
5 shots.
I got it from Dayton, 2 years or last year?
yeah.
Well, that's what I heard, that several people got it in Dayton as well. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
look, now if you do go to Huntsville, it's a great venue, all inside, air conditioned, beautiful place, man. But don't buy a bunch of tickets, okay? Don't buy a bunch of tickets. 'Cause I'll have a few tickets in, and I'm
No,
hoping to
if
win
Joe
something.
Eisenberg's there, you have to, like I say, he managed to win 4 in Orlando, and that's with 20-something thousand people depositing tickets.
Wow.
What are the odds of winning 4 out of 20-something thousand?
Yeah.
I won 1, so I mean, I beat the odds. But
That's pretty good.
yeah, Joe
Yeah.
won 4, and a couple other people won multiples.
I'll be darned.
So yeah,
Ha.
it's 38,000 would be a bit much.
Well, maybe Joe won't make it this year.
Hey,
I'm sure
Glenn,
the club would love you. Yeah, Bill.
after 55 years of going to the Dayton Ham Convention, I've won 1 prize, and it was a book on how to become a ham radio operator.
Yeah.
I actually won a Diamond 40 amp power supply in Orlando, and it just barely fit in my backpack. I had to really totally rearrange, take it out of the box, stuff it in my backpack, get it past security, and hand carry that thing home. I had no weight left in the suitcase at all. There was no room for this thing, and it barely fit in the backpack.
Well, I've had minimal luck, I guess, at Huntsville. Let's see, I won last year. I won the
Minimal luck. Yeah, you walk away with.
I won the 9700 last year. I think 2 years before that, I won the Yazoo 991. You know, I've won some mobile rigs with APRS. I've won some handy talkies. You know, not a whole lot. It's a bunch of little.
I won a couple small things from 4 days in May, and that's the main reason I go over to Dayton, is to go QRPRC, to go to the separate venue there.
I go to
I won a
some
couple.
of their events, but they haven't invited me to do a forum there in 5-6 years, so I only go for their evening events.
Well, look, I've won. Look at this. I've won, I think, 4 of these one year there. And I haven't even opened these yet. I got 2 of them open here, but this is a battery charger. Look at that. And it'll do AAAs, it'll do AAs, you know. And I was thinking, what am I going to do with 4 of these? But, I'm using 2 of them here, and they work pretty good. Maybe we're going to give this out as a prize on a show one night. Maybe we'll do that. We'll try to do that one night, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean,
I used to have one of those.
Now I'll win a lot of little things. I'll get some little, I'll get like Bill. I'll win a, get your ham license. I've got several books. Get your ham license or.
I win the ARRL gift certificates all the time.
Hey, do those things expire? Because I got 3 or 4 ARRL
I think
gift certificates.
they do expire.
I've got 3 or 4 gift certificates. They expire like 20 minutes after you get them, I think.
I think you got like 30 days or
Do you?
thereabouts.
Oh, man. Yeah, let's see. Well, my son here says, Joe will be down at Houston Ham Fest this Friday. There is the Houston Ham Fest Friday. So Joe's going to be down there. Maybe he'll win enough down there. He won't win anything at Dayton and Huntsville.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Joe seems to do very well at Huntsville.
Do they have a big flea market at Huntsville too? Then, and that's all inside.
It's big.
They've
It's
got
all
one of the best flea markets.
It's probably
outside of Orlando and Dayton. I would say it's one of the best.
I guess it's the 3rd largest in the United States.
But there was no way I could go. So.
It's the third largest in the United States, and if you can get into the Embassy Suites Hotel, the hotel's actually connected to the Von Braun Civic Center, and they have so much room to expand. You park your car underneath. You don't even have to get in your car. You can walk through a walkway, air conditioned walkway, right into the Ham Fest, and oh man, it's nice. It's nice, cool, clean.
I just emailed them about 2 weeks ago, and tickets weren't open yet, but they're going to be. But they've already opened the hotel thing, so that part they've done that. I don't think the ticket thing's ready yet. Well, I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna go for a couple of weeks because see what else I can see down there.
Well, you got the Space and Rocket Center there.
The Space and Rocket Center.
Go to NASA.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely want to go see it.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in a NASA town. You know, it's a Dusty, so.
Yeah, I did that on the Orlando trip here. A friend and I went over to Cape Canaveral and did the tourist thing at the Kennedy Space Center, and that was a fabulous day.
I definitely want to see it. Like I said, we've traveled through there, but we've never stopped for any reason. I think I might have missed it one time by about a week. I just happened to be driving through there, but I didn't know about it. No.
Yeah. And no, that's been, every time I go over early, and I'll stay there during the day and do the tourist thing there, and then go get into my hotel room. But, the staying at the Embassy Suites is kind of like staying at one of the Disneyland hotels inside the resort. You're right there, just walk across the walkway. It's all air conditioned. And I think that's the thing I love about Huntsville. It's 100 and something degrees outside, on that hot summer day. But inside it is cool and as comfortable as can be.
We'll be webcasting it. We'll be webcasting it again, giving away prizes to all our viewers out there. That's coming up in August.
Oh, wow.
It'll be August.
Yeah, right around the corner.
And we like Huntsville so much that we go down a day extra and we stay a day late.
Yeah. Oh no, Huntsville's fun.
Well, I'm looking very forward to it. I saw a flight recorder. Somebody had a black box at the Dayton for sale out there in the flea market. Maybe I can get an AIM-9 while I'm down there. I don't know.
Well, might be able to. I tell you, there was one year.
You have a better chance digging the one that's out in the Great Lakes.
Oh no, I tell you what, I haven't seen it in a lot, but hey, probably 35 years ago, we were outside. We had a booth outside, and the booth across from us had a missile standing up. The missile was probably 15, 18 feet long. It was standing up against their truck there. I wish I'd bought it. I don't know what they wanted for it. I don't know what they wanted.
And then bought it and then dangle it from one of your balloons.
No, wouldn't that be neat? Hey, look, you got a neighbor you don't like. What you do, you get up early. You go over in his yard and you stick that sucker in the ground right in front of his front door. And then you put some dry ice in the tail back there where little smoke's coming out the back,
I keep saying I'm going to do something like that for Halloween here. I'm going to build me a flying saucer and put it out in the yard and crash it into the tree and have that alien that was always outside your booth there in Dayton.
Yeah.
Standing, looking around, and like you say, have the dry ice and stuff.
Yeah. I forget who he was called.
Oh, I don't remember, but it was always right outside your booth there at Dayton. Back when it was inside Hera.
Yeah.
I remember you interviewed him one year.
Yeah, I've got it right. Fact. Yeah. He's in our intro, actually. Our show intro there. Me interviewing him.
But yeah, I mean,
let's fly into the house, and I'll pick you guys up back in the chat room.
Okay. Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining.
We'll come back again some.
Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
And thanks for having us on here too. Yeah, I go back to regular.
Let me post that link again. If anybody wants to join us, here's the link. I'm not going to open the phone lines. It's too much trouble right now. But here's the link if you want to join us on Zoom. Click on that link and you'll be on the show. And all 32 people out there watching are going to see you if you come on the show. I think we got a little more than that watching, but the show is recorded, and quite a few people do watch the show after the live is over. Oh, somebody has their audio on there. Who would that be? Would that be Bill?
Probably Bill, because it's not me.
Well, he's muted. Well, everybody's muted up here now, so. Yeah, I don't know. All right, we got a few more minutes, guys. We got about 10 more minutes we're going to be on. We're going to fill out our 2 hours here on shortwave, and I'll edit this, get it on shortwave here in a little while. And we appreciate you tuning in to Amateur Radio Roundtable. If you're out there listening on WBCQ, you're listening on Thursday between 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The actual live show is on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on W5KUB.com. And for all you guys that want that in UTC time, I don't know if it's 0100 or 0200 now. I can't keep up with it, Glenn. I think it's 6 hours. It's 0200 Wednesdays. You can join the live show. Oh.
Yeah. It's like, are we on? No, we're not on daylight savings time.
Yeah, we're 6 hours right now, I think.
Yeah, I can't keep that stuff straight.
Okay. Well, we don't know what happened to Hoodoo and Louie. When they did go over some country, we did get a video from somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, here's the video. You guys aren't going to hear the audio on Zoom, but here's the video.
Well, I think we just need to start putting some anti-aircraft defenses on the balloons.
Yeah. Go back here. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, Bruce says it's 0200 GMT. I don't know. I used to use GMT all the time, and then I kept seeing a UTC. What's more correct now, UTC or GMT?
I think UTC, the Universal Coordinated Time, or whatever.
Yeah. That was seemed like that should be UCT.
Yeah. Man.
Time is Universal Coordinated Time, or yeah.
Well, apparently they got it backwards.
Now, what does WWV say? They say Universal Time, don't they? I think they used to. I haven't listened to it in a long time.
I have not listened to them in forever.
Ding, ding, ding. It's WWV and blah, blah, blah. The time will be blah, blah, blah. Universal Time or something like that.
But, they're a great way to check your frequency on your VFOs and stuff.
Yeah. UTC is the French abbreviation for Universal Coordinated Time.
All right, so how come the French get to do something that's in England?
And how come their letters are all in the wrong order? It ought to be UCT.
They're doing this just to confuse us.
They call it Universal Time Coordinated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Universal Time Coordinated. Yeah, I guess they would.
Yeah, and Chris is saying WWV uses UTC.
Yeah. I used to like to listen to WWV. You hear it, and then when it out in Fort Collins, Colorado, and then when it stops, you listen, and in the weak background, you hear WWVH come on.
Yeah. And, love that clock tick that they have. I mean, how many hours did we spend listening to that?
time is.
Yeah.
8 minutes until we sign off tonight.
But you know that guy, they've used that same guy's voice as long as I've been listening to it.
Hey, Tom,
Uh-huh.
if you allow me to share screen, I have something to show here.
Okay. All right, you got it. We're not seeing anything but a black screen.
He's working on it.
Okay, it's this coming up.
It takes a while for these slower connections to actually get the sharing going. Does the same thing with mine.
Oh, yeah. 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 I think that was on our Facebook group, that picture. Yeah. That's what you need right there, for sure, for sure.
Well, it's a heck of a lot cheaper than a $400,000 Sidewinder.
This is the retooled U.S. jet force, fighter jet force, retooling to with their more economical weapons for
Yeah.
balloon popping.
He's going to have to get a little close to do the work with that one.
Yeah.
Well, unless he drops it.
It'll just bounce off.
I don't know how to fall, you know. They drop it, but I like this one right here, man. I mean, that looks almost real.
Yeah, that was well done.
I can, you know, I can,
I'd do that.
yeah. And it only went 200 miles, man,
Yeah.
before he realized it.
But you know, Bill, you were talking about the Aurora. That's one thing that I've never seen that I've always wanted to see.
Oh,
No sleeping, Tom.
oh man, I'm getting sleepy.
Now you're making me sleepy.
Man, oh man,
And I got to get up for work in the morning. I actually
Oh,
overslept this morning.
I got to get up 4 o'clock in the morning, Thursday.
What for?
The train.
Oh,
Train leaves at 6:30.
oh, good heavens.
You know, you'd think they could pick a better time today to leave, man.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
This year in Orlando, I took a later evening flight, and oh, I was so glad I did. Otherwise, I would have had to get up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
or 4 a.m. to be, but no, earlier than that, 3 to get to the airport by 6. Or whatever, the flight left at 6. And I'm like, no. I ended up leaving, it was 6 p.m. I ended up leaving. A much, much nicer flight. Yeah, and you know, Chris is telling it right. Park the car that you like the least down, you know, take the car you like the least down there to the train station.
Oh, really?
Oh, you haven't heard about all the fun stuff over in Memphis? If you ever find your car again, it won't have a catalytic converter.
Oh, boy.
Your new home needs more than just paint. It needs the power
Oh,
of
no.
certified.
Yeah, I mean,
WWV. All the time, all the time.
Oh, Lord.
Same time, same station, every time. WWV. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every second counts at WWV. For a good time, call 555-4-WWV.
Oh, that's good.
WWV, for the time of your life.
You know, they should
We'll
sell
be back with the
advertising
time on
for little jingles
WWV
like
in
that.
just a minute.
Do what?
They should sell advertising time for cute little jingles just like that.
I mean, it sounds pretty real. I was thinking
Yeah.
they've changed their format a little bit, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. No, they could,
Yeah.
Sell little jingles, sponsor them, get some money in on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
Yeah, WD8 IOL, your car's catalytic converter might get converted from yours to someone else's. I mean, I
Today I
know
wanted
that,
to talk about
you
checking your frequency accuracy. 7300.
yeah, I know at work, we've got a fenced in compound and somebody climbed the fence and got themselves a handful of catalytic converters about a year or so back.
Yeah. Well, they're supposed to have security down here, but I don't know.
Oh, we
if
had
that means
cameras
much.
and security there and they still did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess I need to put my Tesla coil thing, turn it on the car body.
Yeah. Have it doing little arcing from the AM antenna to the chassis.
Yeah.
And it's like, go ahead, take my catalytic converter. Do you feel lucky?
All right. We've got 2 minutes, guys. Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. Come back next week. We'll see you. We'll see you next Tuesday. Then toward the end of the month, we may have to have a recorded show toward the end of the month, next month.
What you got going on?
I'm going to go to Russellville, and
Oh,
I've got to tour my old dorm here. I don't think they're going to let me in my old room, but I'm going to get in the dorm. I want to see what they've done to it. It's different, I know, man.
yeah, you were saying that.
It was guys only back then, the dorm room, and I think we had a bathroom for the floor, where you shower and everything. Now I think everybody's got their own bath in there and everything, and it's both girls and boys, and I don't know, man. It's going to be a lot different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, good night, everybody. Good night, 73. That's best regards to everybody out there. We'll see you next week. Okay.
Night.
Let me shut down the show. Thanks, guys, for watching.